doing own voice over soft music. No, Jungso, you won't come with me, he said to his son, who was requesting his dad to take him with Jungkook. Dada, please, I will be a good boy. He again pleased his dad with his puppy eyes, which always smelled Jungkook's heart. But Jungkook son, your puppy eyes are not gonna work this time, Jungso. He said Jungso to have a sad boat because Jungkook didn't accept his request, but Jungkook just ignored it. And Clara, he shouted, and the woman who is Jungso's caretaker immediately ran to him. Yes, sir. Take care of him. Yes, sir, she said, and then Jungkook faced Jungso, who was still standing with a sad pose, with his hand folded in front of his chest, making him look so cute, and Jungkook smiled. Dada will go now and be a good boy. After Dada come back from work, Dada will take you out, he said while picking up Jungso in his arm. Promise? He asked Jungkook while raising his pinky. Yes, Tam, he too hold his pinky with his son, sealing a promise. Okay, then Dada, go fast and come fast, he said while slightly pushing Jungkook. Fine, I'm going. He peeked Jungso's forehead and put him down, and then lastly coldly looked at Clara, making her understood what Jungkook wanted to say to her. Don't worry, sir, I will look after him. Jungkook simply nodded his head and walked out of the house. Come, Jungso, let's have breakfast, she said to Jungso with a sweet smile and forwarded her hand for Jungso to hold it. Yes, Clara, auntie. Saying this, he grabbed her hand and both walked towards the dining room. Jungkook got into the back seat of the car. And what's my today's schedule? He asked his secretary, who was sitting at the driver's seat, and he turned around to face Jungkook, who was already looking at him with cold face. So today you got to do the interview of some new candidate and then two meetings afternoon. That's all for today. When is the last meeting? So 4:30 and will last by 6-7. Cancel the last meeting, he said, has to promise Jungso to take out. That's why he cancelled the last meeting. Okay, so shall we leave? Jungkook just coldly nodded his head and marked start the engine. Jungso had his lunch and was sitting at the couch looking at the front door as if he is waiting for someone. Jungso, baby, come, it's time for you to take a nap, she said while coming out of the kitchen and gaining Jungso's attention too. No, I don't want to sleep. Dada will be here soon and then me and Dada will go outside, he stubbornly said to Clara, who just sat next to Jungso. Jungso, baby, you should sleep. Then only you will get energy to play with Dada after he come back. She convenienced Jungso and Jungso agreed to. Okay, then I will sleep, he said with a small smile, making Clara smile too, and she carried Jungso to Jungso's bedroom. Both Jungso and Clara laid next to each other, and Clara kept patting Jungso's back to make him sleep. But Jungso didn't sleep as he was excited about going out with his dad after a long time. But then he looked at the Clara when she stopped patting. I should go downstairs and check if Dada came or not, he said to himself and slowly got down the bed and walked outside the room. Jungso came downstairs and was all alone in the house, as every other maids and bodyguards were taking rest too after their lunch, thinking that Jungso is sleeping like every day. So, as Jungso didn't find anyone, so he took the opportunity and walked outside the house as he is always caged inside. While enjoying the fresh air, Jungso came to the nearest door and I think I should cross the road to go to Dada's company, he said while looking at either side of road and took a step forward without knowing anything. Wine just got out of the restaurant after having a lunch and she looked at her wristwatch just to see it's one. It's good that I had my interview at 2, otherwise I would have badly, she said to herself and started walking through the street while enjoying the beauty of Seoul as she was new here. I should ask someone where is JK Enterprise, she asked herself while roaming her eyes around the street to look for any cab so that she could ask them to drop her to JK Enterprise, which is but her eyes fall onto the kid who was standing across the street while looking at either side of road. Seems like he wanted to cross road and oh no, baby, stop right there, she shouted and ran towards the baby and hugged him tightly, and a car just pulled a sudden brake, making the car to stop right in front of Wine's eyes. Vine immediately stood up and walked to the street with the baby in her arm, and the baby started crying loudly as he got scared. Meanwhile, the driver just parked the car aside and walked towards Vine. Baby, calm down. You are okay. See, Nuna is here. Nothing happened to you. And Ajushi, I'm sorry, she said to the old man who was driving the car. And it's okay. Are you both fine? Do you both got hurt anywhere? No, Ajushi, we both are fine. Just the baby is scared. Dear, you shouldn't let your kid like this on this road. You should always have a hold of your baby, he said, thinking Wine is the mother of the baby. But oh god, Ajushi, no, I'm not. The man cut her off and it's okay, just be careful from next time. Saying this, he left, and then Vine faced a crying baby in her embrace. Vine just got lost in the baby. She felt her heart ache seeing the baby cry. She felt complete when she held the baby more tight to her embrace. She was lost in the baby. But then she came to reality when, Dada, I want Dada, he said while crying badly, and thus Vine understood that he got lost. Baby, calm down. Nuna will take you to your Dada, she said to heavy crying Jungso. But Jungso didn't stop crying, making Vine sign not knowing how to stop crying. What the are you saying, Clara? How can you be this irresponsible? He shouted on Clara through phone, who just informed him about Jangso being missing. I'm sorry, sir. My eyes got closed while making Jungso sleep, and when I woke up, he wasn't on bed. She said, being guilty and ready to face any consequence. Did you check the house? Yes, sir. Me and everyone checked the whole mansion, but there is no trace of Jungso. I'm coming. He angrily shouted and cut the call and turned towards his secretary, who was looking as sad as Jungkook after predicting the situation. Mark, check the CCTV footage. I want my son safe and sound in front of me within an hour. Yes, sir. Mark immediately rushed to check the footage of the mansion, postpone the interview. He ordered the other board members who were present to take the interview, and he walked out of the meeting room. Wine took Jungso to a cafe. As he was sobbing, so she thought to buy him something so as to make him calm and then peacefully ask him about his whereabouts. Thank you, Nuna, he said while sobbing and taking the drink from Wine's hand. It's okay, baby, come drink it, she said, and Jungso started sipping the drink, and Wine just got lost in his cuteness that she forget that she needs to ask the baby where he actually wants to go and all. But then everyone's attention, including Wine's attention too, went to the cafe door, which busted open as if the door just got broke, and there everyone saw a dangerous man walking inside, who was none other than Jungkook, whose eyes were roaming inside the cafe in search of his son. And there he saw his son happily enjoying his drink, making his heart relax. So he walked towards his son. Meanwhile, Wine's whole body got numb after seeing the man she hates but also loved to the core, just walking towards her direction with dark eyes fixed on Jungso, and unknowingly Wine stood up from the seat. Jungso, he called, gaining Jungso's attention, and Jungso looked up from his drink and his eyes sparkled, seeing his dada. Dada, I missed you. Saying this, he kept the bottle aside and jumped onto Jungkook, and Jungkook securely held him tightly near to his chest, as close as possible. Don't leave the house ever again, he said while cherishing Jungso's back and the side of his head as Jungso has eyed his face in Jungkook's neck. No, Dada, Jungso will never leave the house. I was so scared, but thanks to this Nuna, she said to help me to reach you and then hold my hand softly and brought me here and bite my favorite banana milk, she said while placing Jungkook and pointing his finger at Wine, who was watching the dad and son with a broken heart. She got it that Jungkook is Jungso's father, as Jungso was comfortable with Jungkook and also both look same though. It's that so? Yes, Dada, and you should help Nuna, right? Of course, Cham, he said and faced Wine with a cold face so as to thank her, but his eyes got wide open when he saw Wine. A faint voice escaped from his mouth, but it was audible enough for Wine, making Wine to scoff. So you remember my name. I thought that you won't be remembering me. After all, you were just using me, she arrogantly said, making Jungkook to scoff this time. Seriously, Wine, you are saying that I used you. It was you? I can clearly see who used whom. She cutted him off, thinking that he is going to put the blame on her, and said while looking at Jungso and back to Jungkook and bye baby, Nuna is going. Take care and never leave the house alone. Okay, she said to Jungso with a sweet smile as the baby has done nothing wrong to her, and then she walked out the cafe leaving a dumb Jungkook and Jungso, who just blankly kept looking at his dad and back to Wine's disappearing figure. What, I used her? Wasn't she the one who left me and also said that Jungso was a mistake? He asked himself, totally being confused by Wine's word, but then he came to reality when, so she is your ex-girlfriend, right? He said while taking long breath as he ran to Jungkook after he saw Wine walking out of the cafe. Yes, Mark, I want to find out why she is here, and also let's get again our searching about Wine, which we paused 4 years back. Yes, sir. Saying this, he took his phone and walked outside the cafe to start the investigation work which Jungkook just asked him to do. Immediately after Wine left the cafe, she took a cab and asked the driver to drop her to JK Enterprise, even though she was late and more above heartbroken after seeing Jungkook with his baby. But she has already made up her mind that now she won't let Jungkook affect her life, has she? Already lost a lot, so Wine sign, be calm, Wine. Just think that you never saw him nor the baby. She took a deep breath to calm herself and then leaned back into the seat. Jungkook and Jungso were heading back to Jungkook's company, and Jungkook was deep in thought about Wine and Wine's word from earlier, but he didn't heard what Jungso was asking him from a long time. But then he came to reality when Jungso kicked Jungkook's thigh and Dada, why you let Nuna go? I want Nuna back, he said while continuously giving small kick to Jungkook. But the Nuna word from Jungso made Jungkook completely out of his mind, so shut up, Jungso, she isn't your Nuna, he shouted at his son, making Jungso to flinch, and he started crying because it's the first time Jungkook shouted, you are bad. Saying this, he started crying loudly, and Jungkook signed, realizing what he just did in anger, so he immediately took Jungso in his arms and, baby, Dada is sorry. Baby, stop crying, Dada is sorry. He tried to say sorry and console Jungkook, but it didn't work. Instead, Jungso started beating him on his chest and face while continuing crying. Excuse me, I came for interview. I got a little late, she said to the receptionist of the JK Enterprise, who just gave an assured smile to Wine, and oh, it's okay, as the interview got postponed to next day. Oh, thank God. Okay, then I will come next day. Sure, ma'am. See you again. Wine just nodded her head and turned around to leave, but altered when she again saw Jungkook and Jungso. But her heart again ached seeing Jungso crying in Jungkook's arm, which she herself doesn't know why. But again, her heart felt so relaxed seeing Jungkook walked into the company with Jungso in his arm, who was just pushing and hitting Jungkook while crying, showing he is mad at Jungkook. Jungso, for God's sake, stop crying. Jungkook struggling to make Jungkook so calm, which was indeed cute. Jungso, I said stop. He grabbed Jungso's small hand in his big hand as he was now so done with Jungso, and you are getting stubborn just like your mom, he said to Jungso, who didn't listen to Jungkook's word as he was busy getting his hand. Baby, she called him with a sweet yet calm voice just because she wasn't able to see Jungso cry, which making both Jungkook and Jungso to look at the direction only for Jungso's eyes to sparkle with happiness and Jungkook's eyes to wide open in surprise after again seeing wine in front of him. Dara, leave me. Saying this, he started struggling in Jungkook's hold, and unknowingly Jungkook's grip on Jungso loosened as he was lost in wine, and thus Jungso jumped from Jungkook's hold and ran to Wine, who just kneeled down so as to match Jungkook's height. Nuna, he hugged Wine tightly, and again Wine felt so calm and relaxed after hugging Jungso, making her feel like she never wanted to leave Jungso, and she felt complete. Why were you crying? He asked him after pulling back from the hug and wiping Jungkook's tears. Dara shouted at me, he said with a cute port, making Wine's heart to skip a bit, and she smiled wholeheartedly after so long time. Dara scolded you so that you won't leave the house again. She made Jungso understand, thinking that Jungkook might have scolded him because he left the house. I was just missing Dara. I'm always alone at home with Clara auntie, so today I wanted to spend time with Dara. That's why I left the house. It wouldn't have happened if I had my mama with me, right? He said, making Wine's heart to ache, and her eyes turned teary without her knowing. She don't know, but the words from this cutie pie made her broke. And she immediately hugged the baby, comforting him, and Jungkook's eyes too turned teary hearing Jungso's word. Bunny, Jungso looked at his back and saw Jungkook on his knees too, with his arm wide open, and Jungso immediately ran to him, and Jungkook hugged him tightly. I'm sorry, baby, Dada will do anything you ask for, he said, making Jungso's eyes sparkle, so he broke the hug and looked at Jungkook. Really, yes, Cham, Dada will do anything to bring a smile on my Cham's face, he said, and peeked his forehead. I want Nuna as my mother, he said without thinking twice, and Jungkook blankly looked up at Vine so as to get an answer from her, but instead he saw a surprised Vine with wide eyes. Both Jungkook and Wine came to talk about what Jungso asked for. Wine was sitting on the couch waiting for Jungkook as he left to his personal room to put Jungso on bed as he slept because he was tired to all crying, and also he didn't took a nap. Soon Jungkook came back and sat in front of Wine and what happened to Jungso's mom? She asked Jungkook, taking him off guard as why Wine is asking such question to him. Sorry, he asked Wine with a raised eyebrow and irritated tone, making Wine sign. I mean your wife, what happened to her? Where is she? Has Jungso earlier said that if he has mama? She said, making Jungkook to frown, and now he was sure that there is some misunderstanding in between them, so she left Jungso after he was born, saying that Jungso was a mistake for her. He said to Wine, which was his po, just to know Wine's reaction if she remembers Jungso or not. But oh, sad, how can be she this cruel to leave her own son? She said in a bit sad tone, and now Jungkook confirmed that he too had a misunderstanding. Jungkook thought, now it's clear we both had some misunderstanding and we just lost our 4 years of life. But if I will say this to Wine, she might not believe me and will think that I'm saying this just for Jungso's wish. Let first Mark got the details and then I will tell Wine. This time I won't leave you, Wine, he internally said to himself, but then he came to reality. Jungkook, you should make Jungso understand that I can't be his mom, she said, making Jungkook's heart ache. Meanwhile, Wine's heart was itself aching, thinking she will not be able to see Jungso. And why so? Wine scoffed. Seriously, Jungkook, just because of Jungso's wish, we shouldn't spoil our life. I hate to, she said, making Jungkook's heart break into pieces, but then too he put on a blank face. And why you hate me? He asked Wine, making Wine roll her eyes. Come on, Jungkook, don't be innocent. You were just using me when you were already having someone else in your life. So you think so cheap of me. No, I wasn't, but I believe my parents more, and they showed me. What did you see? I just don't want to remember it. Just leave it. And also, I wasn't knowing it's your company, so I will withdraw my application letter. Saying this, she got up from the couch and was about to leave, but Jungkook can't again lose her. So, Wine, you will be my contract wife, he said, making Wine to look at her Jungkook in disbelief. Are you serious, Jungkook? Yes, I am, because I promised my son, and also you will agree. If not, then he shrimp, making Wine's knees go weak as she saw his stream after 4 years. Then Wine nervously asked him to continue. Simple, I will ban your old certificate and no companies will take you for a job. He simply said while shrimming more because he knew that Wine will now agree as he has no other option. So should I ask my secretary to get the papers ready? He asked, making Wine to bite her lips. Okay, just for a few months. After that, I will make Jungso understand and leave him. She said, making Jungkook just nod his head as he only wanted few days because in that time, Mark will get all the information and then he will clear all the misunderstanding and then they will be together. Fine. Saying this, he took the phone to call his secretary to get the contract papers done. Meanwhile, Vine wasn't regretting accepting Jungkook's proposal. Jungkook laid Jungso on his bed as he was still sleeping. Seems like he was very tired, she said while admiring Jungso's sleeping face and yeah, today he didn't took a nap and also he cried a lot today. He said while covering Jungso with blanket and then he faced Wine just to see her admiring Jungso which made Jungkook to smile. But then he shrimp thinking of something so. Won't you freshen up? He asked Wine gaining her attention and she looked at Jungkook just to blush and bite her lips and shy as Jungkook was shrimming and slowly approaching her while taking off his coat and unbuttoning his shirt. Jungkook, what are you doing? She shuddered while walking back, making Jungkook to shrimp more wider, knowing he still has the same effect on her. Can't you see I'm taking off my shirt? He said to Vine, who just stopped walking as her back hit the wall, and soon she closed her eyes, seeing Jungkook completely took off his shirt, making Jungkook to awe at the cuteness, and he simply walked into the bathroom. Vine opened her eyes when she heard the door closing sound, and she took a deep breath to calm her fast beating heart. He has the same effect on me, she said to herself without knowing it was loud. Yes, Mrs. John, I have the same effect on you, he shouted from the bathroom, making Wine more blush. Still, she said, hoping Jungkook will reply, but no, she didn't got any response, so she walked towards the bed and sat next to Jungso's sleeping figure and unknowingly started admiring him, making her eyes teary. If my baby was alive, it would have been same like you, right? She whispered while remembering her terrible past, making her tears fall down. I love you, baby. Just by looking at you, it makes me feel that I am complete as a woman, and you are making me happy, she said to Jungso's sleeping figure, but then she came to reality when her phone rang and she took her phone just to see it's a mom. Yes, Umma, how was the interview, baby? She asked her, making Wine to close her eyes, and I got selected. She lied to her, really. Yeah, okay then don't worry, dear. Me and your dad will soon visit you there and don't take too much stress, okay? It's not good for your health as you're still recovering. I know, Oma. I will call you later. Okay, take a good sleep. Wine just hummed as she wasn't willing to talk and thus she cut the call and she placed her phone aside. Vine laid next to Jungso and again started admiring him along with slowly running her finger softly on Jungso's hair, nose, closed eyes, cheeks, making Vine smile softly. But then suddenly Jungso in his sleep turned towards Vine and hugged her tightly while snuggling more into his, making Vine hard to skip a beat, and she felt the most euphoric feeling when unknowingly made her close her eyes and she softly hugged back Jungso, making her drift to sleep. Jungkook walked out of the bathroom just to see the most mesmerizing view, his love and his son both cuddling to sleep, making him smile, loving at this view, and then he approached the bed and sat next to Vine. You don't know, babe, I was craving to see this view of you with our son, he said to the sleeping Vine and tightly peeked her forehead. Seems like you are tired too. Saying this, he got up from bed and walked to his closet and came back with his t-shirt off him and he himself changed Vine's dress. Sleep well, baby. He peeked Vine's forehead and then walked to the other side of bed and laid on bed with his eyes fixed on his love and baby as he was admiring the view without disturbing his love nor his baby. Vine woke up. She felt energized this morning as she had a very good sleep after a long 4 years. Vine looked at her right side just for her lips to have a wide smile after seeing both Jungso and Jungkook sleeping peacefully while hugging each other. Oh, I'm getting jealous of my baby. He is getting my cook's warm cuddle, which I love the most, she said with a cute port, but soon realization hit her and she sat straight in a blink of second. What the are you saying, Vine? She scolded herself, but then she again faced Jungkook and leaned closer to him and I love you, Cook. I still love you a lot, Cook. That's why I'm willing to start a new life with you with this baby as mine. Saying this, she peeked Jungkook's forehead and then she looked at Jungsoon. I know we just met yesterday, but I'm feeling like I have a deep bond with you. I love you too, cutie pie, she said and peeked his forehead too and then slowly walked out of the bed to washroom. Jungkook opened his eyes. He too was feeling good today as he had a good sleep after a long time. He had a wide smile on his lips as from today he is going to wake up with his love, and at the same time the bathroom door opened and there he saw Wine coming out after a shower. I miss this view of you in my t-shirt, he said while jumping out of bed and walking towards Vine, who was already looking at him, and a gasp left her mouth when Jungkook just hugged her tightly, inhaling her fragrance. Jungkook, she tried to push him but no use. He only tightened his hold on her and let's stay like this for a few minutes, he said while making his hold on Wine soft and Wine to melt in his soft hug and hugged him back as she was also craving for his hug, making Jungkook to smile and both stayed like that with closed eyes feeling each other's heartbeat. Both were enjoying each other's warmth, but then they have to broke it as they heard Dada. He called Jungkook in his sleep, and both Wine and Jungkook looked at the bed just to see Jungso sitting straight and rubbing his eyes, making both Wine and Jungkook to smile at his cuteness. Yes, Bunny, Jungso saw his hand to Jungkook, indicating to pick him up, and Jungkook did it. And Jungso hid his face in Jungkook's neck as he was still moody, and Jungkook walked towards Wine. But is my baby still sleepy? She said, making Jungso to immediately look up from Jungkook's shoulder, and his eyes sparkled, seeing Wine. Nona, this time Wine's heart ached hearing him calling her Nona, and Jungkook sighed seeing Wine's smile drop. Baby, she isn't your Nona, she is your mama, he said, making both Wine's eyes sparkle and Jungso happy. Really, she is my mama? Yes, Bunny, she is your mama, he said, and Jungso looked at Wine and Mama. He called her, making Wine burst out crying in happiness, but Jungkook got concerned for her. Wine baby, what happened? Why are you crying? He placed Jungso on bed and hugged Wine, who just started crying more in Jungkook's embrace. Wine, it's everything okay, you can say it to me, he said while cherishing her back. Jungkook, I'm fine. I just got carried away by him calling me mama, she said, making Jungkook relax and smile. I can understand you because I too cried when you first called me Dada. You just scared me. Saying this, he peeked Wine's forehead, making Wine feel the same feeling as she felt every time he used to her forehead back in their college days when they were dating. It was the most beautiful morning for Wine and Jungkook as they happily had their breakfast, and then Jungso and Wine happily sent Jungkook to his company, making Jungkook's day more brighten up. After Jungkook left, both Wine and Jungso spent a lot of time together by playing, walking around the mansion, and all making both of them have a more good bond. Right now, Jungso was laying on Wine's as both of them were watching an anime movie but ended up falling asleep. But Wine's sleep got disturbed when she heard her phone ringing, and she slowly picked up her phone to attend the call before it break Jungso's sleep. Yes, Oma, she whispered so as not to wake up Jungso, but what she heard from her mom made her eyes wide open. What, you insult? She slowly got up, still Jungsu sleeping on her. Yes, honey, didn't I told you yesterday that me and dad soon will visit you, but you didn't say that you will come today. That's a surprise. Okay, leave that all and tell your apartment address. We need to freshen up and take rest, she said, making one gulp a lump in nervous because she is staying at Jungkook's mansion. And Oma, I will text you the address. Just wait a minute. Okay, Wine immediately cut the call and impatiently dialed Jungkook's number he gave to her in morning before going to work. Jungkook was blankly going through the file which Mark gave him a few hours ago, as it was a file which contained the details of Wine from past 4 years. Jungkook closed the file and now how will I make her understand? Will she believe me over her own parent? He asked himself, but at the same time his phone rang and he saw it was Wine, so he immediately attended the call with a wide smile. Yes, baby. Jungkook, my parents are here and they are asking for my company's apartment address. What should I do? She asked him, and Jungkook found it the right time, so Wine gave him the address of the mansion. Jungkook, are you serious? My parents hate you for what happened in the past. They will. Jungkook cut it off. Wine, just do as I say, and I'm coming to house. I need to clear something. Saying this, he cut the call and today everything should be cleared, he said to himself, and then he stood up from his chair and took his coat and the file and walked out of the cabin. Oh my god, why did any company give such a big mansion to stay, that too just for an employee? She said while roaming her eyes inside the big house and just stood in front of her parents like a statue, not knowing. Maybe because her daughter caught the eyes of the CEO, that's why he gave such a big house to her, he jokingly said, but she doesn't catch the eyes of the CEO. Instead, she took my whole heart, he said while walking inside the house, and Wine's dad and mom got surprised to see Jungkook. Meanwhile, Wine wasn't having a good feeling, so she just stands still. Jungkook sat on the couch and Wine's dad and mom immediately got up from the couch so as to giving respect to the top businessman, but then everyone's attention went to the file that Jungkook just threw in front of Wine's parent on the tea table. Mind explaining, he said while pointing at the file. And what, sir? He asked Jungkook, being in fear. Don't play more innocent, Mr. Lee, he said in a cold tone, making Wine's dad scared. But what are you talking, Jungkook? She came in between the conversation. Wine, why don't you take the file and see by yourself? He said, making Wine frown in confusion, but then too he picked the file and The file from Wine's hand fall on the floor and she faced her dad and mom who were now looking down at the floor. Amma Appa, will you explain this? She asked him, shaking voice. Wine, we thought that he was using you. And Wine stopped her mom by showing her palm to stop talking. Not that. Why you say that, my baby, while I gave birth? She asked the thing which was eating her up. Yeah, Wine, that was wanted you to have a better future. Being a single mom, you will not have a good future. So you gave my baby, right? You know how hard it was for me. I was in depression for years, and then finally just a month back I decided to move on and start a new life. All these years seeing me cry in depression, then too you didn't feel like telling the truth, right? Wine busted out on them while tears were flowing. We tried to find the baby, but it was too late. Someone already took the baby. We didn't know who. It's me. My baby is safe with me, he said, making Wine's dad and mom's eyes wide open, but Wine's body got all numb and at the same time Mama, he came downstairs while rubbing his eyes, and Wine, without thinking, just ran to him and hugged him tightly and cried her heart out. My baby, I'm sorry, I'm a bad mother. I wasn't there for you when you needed me. Please forgive me, baby, she said while crying hardly, making Jungsu to cry. Mama, don't cry. He softly cupped Wine's cheek and peeked her forehead, making Wine to burst out more in crying. Babe, you are making him cry too, he said while approaching Wine and sat on his knees next to Wine as she was on her knees too. Jungkook, I'm a bad mother. No, you are not. You weren't knowing anything, so stop blaming yourself and just forget everything and start a new life with me and a baby. She eagerly nodded her head and thrown herself on Jungkook and hugged him tightly. I love you, Cook, she said, making Jungkook smile, and he peeked her side of it. I love you more, babe. He too confessed, but then Wine remembered something and Cook, I never said like Jungso was a mistake. I wasn't aware of it. They said my baby. She explained to Jungkook that she is innocent. I got it. And also, if I would have comforted you that day, this all wouldn't have happened. I'm sorry for acting like a fool. No, Cook, anyone would do the same. And also, I'm sorry, Cook, I didn't trust. Before Wine can complete, Jungkook cut her off as Jungkook was knowing that Wine is going to say about the girl from party, which again was a misunderstanding as Wine was right. It was his elder sister. So let's forget everything. I don't want to remember all those things. Just leave, move on, and start a new life with new memories, he said, and Wine just nodded her head. And then she faced Jungso, who was just watching his dad and mom with blank face. Come here, baby. She opened her arms and Jungso immediately ran to her and hugged her, and Jungkook smiled, hugging both his love and son, and thus they had their first family hug. But Wine looked up to her dad and mom, who were already looking at them with guilty eyes, so Wine stood up and approached them. Wine, we are sorry, she said, being guilty, and Wine said, Amma, Appa, I forgive you both for separating Jungkook and me because you were scared of rich people, and I can understand that. But separating my son from me, for that I need time to remove the past from my mind. Hope you understand, she said, being polite and clear about her words, making both her parents agree, and they walk out of the house. Wasn't it too harsh, baby? Approached Wine with Jungso in his arm, and Wine to face him and took Jungso from Jungso. I don't think so. Oh, my baby, I love you so much. Saying this, she started peeking Jungso's whole face, making Jungso laugh, and Jungkook kept admiring his lovely family. What about me? She said, gaining both Wine's and Jungso's attention, and he wrapped his arm around Wine's and stared deep into her eyes. Babe, one more thing. The contract was just fake, as I wanted to keep you with me, so he cut it off when Wine peeked his lips. I love you, Cook, she said, and peeked his lip, making him smile wider, and I love you more, my babe. Saying this, he pulled Wine into a passionate. The end. Thanks for watching. Bye.